called Blair, and this is a blackened sort of raspberry color. It actually reminds me a lot of Bogota Blackberry by OPI. This was a color that I actually bought with the next color that I'm going to show you called Isla, and disregarding the fact that they're very similar colors, I bought them because when I was first collecting nail polish, I was looking for like that perfect vampy sexy red color, and I picked up both of these. You can see in the base that it is leaning towards more of like that raspberry color. It's not a pure red. It definitely has a cooler tone to it. In the first coat, it goes on pretty nicely. It's on the thinner side of things, but it does build up pretty well. It doesn't pool. It's not super thin either, like some older Zoya colors used to be. So yeah, that's the first coat of Blair. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Blair, and this gets the color fully opaque. It also adds a little bit of glowiness to the polish. In that first coat, you do get a pretty decent amount of shimmer, but with this second coat, it definitely makes your nails look really glowy from within. It also really deepens up the color and makes it purely like a red shimmer on the nail. So that is 2 coats of Blair. So after I swatch Isla, I will let you know which of the 2 I am going to keep because they are so similar, and you guys will see in a second what I mean. But yeah, this is a really pretty polish if you are somebody looking for that sort of blackened raspberry tone of a red color in a shimmer from Zoya. So this polish is called Isla. This is the other one that I wanted to show you guys and say compare before I decide to destash one or the other. Isla is a really pretty sort of Christmas red ribbon sort of color. It's a deeper red shimmer, but it's not as much of a blackened raspberry as it is like a darker red with a red shimmer mixed into it, if that makes sense. Like if you guys can sort of imagine the difference, I guess. This one also applies pretty nicely in one coat. You can see that in that first coat it has a little bit more of a brighter sort of Christmas cranberry sort of red tone to it. So yeah, that's the first coat of Isla. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Isla, and this does get the polish fully opaque. It is a little bit richer in tone. It feels pretty velvety on the nail. I guess it looks pretty velvety on the nail. It applies really easily too, I guess, so it feels pretty velvety on the nail. But yeah, it applies really beautifully. It gets fully opaque. It gets richer, a little bit more saturated of a red. Not super bright, but that shimmer pulls through really nicely on the nail and just makes it look really very holiday-like. So that is 2 coats of Isla. So I think I am going to keep Isla versus Blair. I think I like this one a little bit more, and I can see myself using this one a little bit more, especially around the holidays. I did mention this in a previous video, in an OPI video, but at the very, very end of this series, I am going to look at all of the nail polish that I have kept, including all the compare ones and the ones that I did say I wanted to keep, and see from there which ones I have duplicates of. So if I do have a shimmery red from OPI that I want to compare to this, and, you know, sort of see which ones from there to destash and to keep. So that is my plan for the very end of this series. But for now, I am going to get rid of Blair and I'm going to keep Isla. This color is called Kym, and this is a slightly foily, sort of Coca-Cola color, I guess. It is a brown toned red, rusty red color. It's a little, I guess like a russet is the right color for it. And this, I don't quite remember what collection this was from, but it is a very pretty color. It has, again, that slight rusty tone to it. So in the first swatch, it actually almost looks like an orange, but when you build it up, those red tones come through a little bit more with the brown to make it look less orange. In the first coat, it does look a little bit sheer, but it does build up pretty well. And in that first coat, you can also see the shimmer pretty nicely. So that is the first coat of Kym. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Kym, and this gets the polish fully opaque. And you can see that those red tones come in a little bit more. So again, it's less of an orange and more of like a rusty color on the nail. The shimmer comes out pretty nicely as well. I feel like the shimmer sparkles really nicely in the base that gets a little bit deeper. It's a really pretty fall color. It's one of those changing leaves types of colors, you know, like right before leaves go from like red to brown. It's that sort of transitional color. So it's a really beautiful fall color, especially if you're somebody that's into those types of tones. So that is 2 coats of Kym. So this polish I think I am going to destash. It's so pretty and it's such a beautiful fall color, but I haven't worn it in like a couple of seasons. I just feel like it could go to a home that would really love it, and for me it's just not working out. So this is going to get destashed. This polish is called Sarah. Again, I don't quite know what polish collection this came from. Zoya does a collection every season, but I feel like for a while there they released a cream section and like a glass fleck shimmer section of each season. So after a while, for me, they just kind of all melded together. Like I could tell you which ones came from the Sparkle collection and which ones came from like the Sunshine collection vaguely, but I can't really tell you what like Sarah came from. But it is a very, very pretty red glass fleck shimmer. And this is a red base with a really beautiful red and gold glass fleck in it. It's got a different color base than Smitten with Mittens does. So it's not a dupe for Smitten with Mittens. That's so hard for me to say today. But it is a very pretty color nonetheless. You can see in the first coat that it applies pretty evenly and pretty nicely. I think that Zoya does the best glass fleck formula. So the formula for almost every single Zoya glass fleck I have is like amazing. So yeah, that is the first coat of Sarah. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Sarah, and this gets the color fully opaque. It also adds quite a bit of depth to the color. I feel like it deepens up the color a little bit, but also makes the shimmer really glow inside of the colored base. And it does make the color seem a little bit more of a berry toned red versus like a brighter tomatoey sort of red. So that is 2 coats of Sarah. So this polish I am going to keep for now. It's going to be a compare polish. Again, for the end of this entire process, I will then sort of destash from the red shimmers that I have. So this one is going to stay in my stash for now. So this polish is called Posh, and sorry that I left the sticker on it. This is one of the matte velvet colors. I didn't purchase this in the very first release of matte velvets. I purchased this in the second one, which happened a couple of years ago. These are their matte colors that have that sort of suede finish to them. They are very, very similar to the OPI suede colors. And this one is the red of the matte velvet collection that Zoya has. This one dries down to a really velvety, like visually velvety finish, hence matte velvet. It is a really beautiful, cool toned red, and there's that shimmer in it that you can see, but that dries down matte. So when it's matte, it looks like a velvet, and then when it's got a top coat on it, it has this beautiful shimmer to it. So that's the first coat of Posh. I'm going to go now with the second coat of Posh, and this will get the polish fully opaque. These polishes are actually almost easily done as a 1-coat polish if you do use thicker coats. I tend to use thinner coats, as I've told you guys before. They do dry down very, very quickly, and I feel like with the second coat you get quite a bit of depth to this polish. So yeah, that is 2 coats of Posh. I don't have very much else to say about these, but they're gorgeous. They're so pretty and so easy to use. So this polish I am going to keep. It's one of my favorites. It's so easy. It's pretty versatile because you could use it as a matte or a shimmer. But it's also one of those really easy go-to polishes since they dry down so quickly that you can put like a thick coat on and kind of run out the door and it'll still be okay because it's going to dry matte. So yeah, that is Zoya's Posh. This color is called Reva, and this is like a slightly magenta toned red with a really, you can see, bright gold glass fleck shimmer running through it. I feel like the gold glass fleck makes it look a little bit more red than pink, which is why it's in my red section, but it does lean towards the pink side. This is the first coat. You can see it's actually got a pretty decent color coverage, and there's quite a bit of shimmer packed in there. So again, it reflects much warmer than you would think it does based off of the bottle. It's got a really beautiful formula. This was one of those colors that I think they came out closer to like 2012, 2013, when their formulas went from on the thinner side to a more average thickness, so it is very easy to apply. So that is the second coat of Reva. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Reva, and this gets the polish fully opaque. It does add a little bit more of a red tone to the base, even though it still looks a little bit on the magenta side, but the gold shimmer also comes out a lot as well. You can see how much shimmer is really packed into those coats. So yeah, that is the second coat of Reva. You know what? I totally had it in my head that I was going to destash this after I swatched it. And then I sat there and looked at it for a minute and thought, I definitely want to keep this. So what I'm going to do is keep it and see if I use it, especially this spring. This is such a pretty spring and summer color, especially with that really, really bold shimmer that's in there. So yeah, this is going to be a keep to see if I use it color, because I mean, just look at it now. Like, it's so pretty. So yeah, this is Zoya's Reva. This polish is called Kimmy, and this is a more tomato red sort of color with that bright gold shimmer running through it as well. This color is so pretty as well. It's basically the brighter sister of Reva was. In the first coat, you can see how much warmer it is than the other reds that I've showed you so far. This is definitely one of the more warmer reds that I own, and that shimmer that's running through it is just gorgeous. You can see it picks up really well in that first coat as well. So that's the first coat of Kimmy. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Kimmy, and it gets fully opaque in 2 coats. The color adds, or the color gets just that rich red to it, that saturated tomato red to it, and then the shimmer comes out really strong as well, just like it did in Reva. So that is 2 coats of Kimmy. So this polish I am going to destash, as beautiful as it is. It's a little bit too orange for me, and I feel like since I'm keeping Reva, I have the element of the shimmer in that polish, and I just feel like for me, of the two between Reva and Kimmy, I would wear Reva more. So this one is going to get destashed. So this polish is called Tamzen, and this is also sort of like a tomatoey red color, but it is on the little bit of a like dusty side. This is a cream polish, and I guess this is the only cream polish of this video. And it reads pretty orange in the first coat. It does get a little bit more dusty and desaturated in that second coat. This is a really pretty summer red color. It's a really beautiful pedicure color. It applies really nicely and really evenly in the first coat. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Tamzen, and this gets the color fully opaque. As you can see, that it does make the color a little bit, it gives the like the true tone of the color a better representation on the nail. It gets a little bit more desaturated, even though it does get it fully opaque. So that is 2 coats of Tamzen. So again, as pretty as this nail polish is, I don't actually wear it all that often, so this is going to get destashed. This polish is called Tanzy. This is one orange that I have to show you guys in this video. This is a really beautiful tangerine, sort of mandarin orange type of color with a beautiful gold shimmer running through it as well. I think this was from the Sunshine collection, which was the collection that came out the summer after the Sparkle collection. So I was like all up in that hype of the Sparkle collection, and I still am. But it applies pretty sheer, but it has that beautiful Zoya glass fleck formula. It's just, the shimmer comes out so strong. It applies really evenly, even though it is a little bit sheer. It still has a pretty decent color base to it. So that is the first coat of Tanzy. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Tanzy, and this does actually get the polish to full opacity. You can see that it adds quite a bit of color to that base, and the shimmer is so strong that it just kind of reflects away any sort of sign of like nail line underneath. This is one of my favorite oranges, I think purely because of the shimmer in it. And because it's a fairly light orange. It's not an orange that I feel like looks weird on my skin tone. So that is 2 coats of Tanzy. So this polish I am going to keep, but I am going to keep to see if I wear it a lot this coming 6 months, especially with summer and spring coming. It's one of those colors that I would kind of never think to wear it in the fall. So if I don't wear it during the spring and summer, then I will destash it. So the last polish I have to show you guys today is called Tiffany. I don't know why I didn't show this earlier in like my neutral section, but this is like a slightly pink toned neutral light brown color with a gold shimmer running through it. It's like almost a mauve, but I think it has a little bit more brown than a mauve does. But it is also in that beautiful Zoya Glass Flex shimmer. In the first coat, you can see that it gives a little bit of a color tint, but again, that Glass Flex shimmer comes out so sparkly and so pretty. This is actually a color that I would totally wear in one thin coat on my nails, just to give my nails something of a little bit of a sparkle, or like just a slight tint of color and a little bit of, or a lot of shimmer. And I would wear it in some sort of like neutral capacity, like an office setting, just to have something a little bit more fancy on my nails, but nothing too crazy. So that's the first coat of Tiffany. I go in now with the second coat of Tiffany, and this makes the coat a little bit more brown, and it gives a little bit more saturation to the base coat. It does make the color fully opaque. You can see that that shimmer just again reflects off any sort of visible nail line when I move my fingers like this. So yeah, that's 2 coats of Tiffany. This is going to be another see if I wear it polish. This polish I'll see over the next 6 months as well to see if I wear it enough, and then I will destash from there. So that is this week's video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would totally make my day. Again, I have listed all of the previous Swatch My Stash videos in the description box down below. So if you missed any of them, check them out, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you guys soon.